Why are you known as the godfather of hip hop?
Well, I'm known by many names that many of the followers of the culture have given to me. I was known as the godfather of hip hop last millennium. In this millennium, I was bestowed the Amen-Ra of universal hip hop culture, and so many other great names that other people give to me. But I'm just a humble brother that's been doing this since the beginning of it, and just to keep it going, and always out there trying to teach and wake up the community throughout the world.
So explain how you and Kool Herc interacted during the very beginning stages.
Yeah, Kool Herc, he was coming from the west side of the Bronx, and we coming from the South Bronx, southeast side, you know, coming through the black space with Disco King Mario, myself, Tex DJ Hollywood, Kenny Ken, and the great Cool DJ D, and hearing Herc playing these certain styles of beats that he was playing, I knew I had that and then some. So I started doing the same thing on that side of town, and Herc was doing it on this side of town, and Herc was coming to a lot of my private parties and checking like a guardian angel, and thus we started doing a lot of events together, because he used to call me the Beast from the East.
Who actually coined the term hip hop?
The term itself comes from the cliche raps of Keith Cowboy and Lovebug Starski, who was using it in their raps. And when we decided to call the culture hip hop came from us when they wanted to give it a name. And I looked back at what they were saying. I said, you know what, this is hip hop because it's something that's hip and it makes you hop to the groove, to the beat. Because we didn't have no name before. We was calling Boy Yon Yon, the Go Off, and all type of other names we used to call it. So it was through the Universal Zulu Nation that we decided to call the whole culture movement hip hop. Because there was no culture, there was nothing under that until we decided to say, come on B-boys, come on DJs, come on MCs, come on aerosol writers, and adding that fifth element to it called knowledge, and calling it elements, coming from the Universal Zulu Nation.
Now, at what point did you really realize that what you're doing is completely cutting edge?
Oh, definitely in the year of 1973. What we was doing and spreading the cultural movement throughout the tri-state area of the United States, in Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York. And then decided that through our cassette tapes, which was like our albums that was traveling around, because, you know, back then you didn't have 10 DJs at a show doing like they have today, and everybody play an hour or something like that. Back then you had one DJ or two DJ or maybe three out of your group that would play from like 7 to 4 or from 9 to 4 a.m. in the morning. And then you would have brothers who would carry your crates, and sometimes you could come out from 10 to 15 to 20 crates of records just to spend in that all those different hours a night.
At the time, during the early stages, it was primarily black and Latino. Were there any white, DJs or white MCs during that time?
Well, I don't like getting into the confusion when people think black and Latino is two different things. When we say black, we talk about Latinos who indigenous names goes back to the Moors. But there was definitely a large black and Puerto Rican, Dominican, all from the Caribbean, the West Indies, working, making the hip hop happening at that time. And there was certain whites who used to be part of it that used to come to certain parts that lived in the communities that came to some of the events that was also there too, but they wasn't on the stage and everything yet to becoming MCs at the time.
Okay, at what point did you actually see like white MCs and white DJs?
Well, that came more when we started doing many of the travels into many different places and heading downtown scene, when we started playing like Club Negrills, the Roxy's, what else, Tramps, and all the punk rock scene. That's when a lot of Europeans started getting into it, because the punk rockers are the first of the whites who started grabbing hold to the hip hop. And that's when you start seeing European rappers coming out of England, the Funkapolitans, and other rappers coming out of the United States, America, Republic, in the many different states that was happening. So it was big ups to a lot to the punk rock movement that helped to bring about that cause.
Did the Beastie Boys kind of form out of that thing? Because the Beastie Boys had a punk rock background and moved into hip hop when they got signed to Def Jam.
Oh, most definitely. The Beastie Boys came out of punk rock and jumped over into the hip hop regime, and definitely got praise in what they was doing. It was wild and crazy and funky, and Rick Rubin, who started the Def Jam Records with Jazzy J long before Russell Simmons, when they put out the records It's Yours. And then the first Def Jam record was my record that I gave to them, which was supposed to be in Beat Street, called So Def, the Def Jam, which was put out under Jazzy J, and Russell Simmons was on the other side.
Okay, because Russell Simmons was rapping back then, right?
Yeah, he was doing that, what they call the spoken word at the time, and dropping it on the other side off a beat that we used to play many years before in the early hip hop culture.
You know, we've had Lord Jamar on Vlad TV a lot. Now, one of the things that the Jamar has said in interviews, in multiple interviews that he's done here, is that he feels that whites are guests in the house of hip hop. And what he means by that is that, you know, hip hop was, you know, when it was formed, it was primarily black and Latino. And that white rappers are welcome to practice hip hop, but they have to pay respect to the origins of it.
Well, that's true with anybody that really gets in hip hop. Whites definitely was guests, but now they part of the hip hop, because hip hop now is a world phenomenon and is respected in many different countries, towns, and cities on our great planet. And yes, it started in the black Latino community, but it's like when the prophets came, they all came for particular people. So certain things came for black people, and then through the word, it stretched out to all people. So that's the same with Christianity, Islam, Judaism, the same with our culture. It started from our community, but now it's a world community.
One of the other things that he said is that homosexuality has no part of hip hop.
Well, you got all type of people out there with all type of things, whether they be gay, straight, or whatever's out there, and they do their different style or whatever they doing on the planet. So you don't know what styles of hip hop or what people are doing. Whatever they do behind a closed door, that's to each and all of them. So I couldn't say what that is. That's the saying, like, that ain't got nothing to do with Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. Ain't got nothing to do with whatever politician or whatever's happening out there. So we cannot say who's what and who's what.
Do you see it like an outwardly gay rapper coming out and being accepted by the hip hop community?
I couldn't even say. You have to look online to all that to see who's a gay rapper, who said that they a gay rapper and out there rapping whatever they rapping to.
I mean, you know, it's so funny, man. When like it's been certain places Drake has come looking for me. Like when I guess it was the Breakfast. You know, sometimes a lot of times people will advertise the Breakfast Club is gonna be somewhere, but it might be Envy and Angela, and I don't be there.
I think celibacy is important right now for me because I'm trying to stay focused, and I wanna smile more, and I wanna be more into my music, and I wanna be more into myself, and I wanna just get to know myself better.